basketball. You want to be a barber, you know what I'm saying? But you want to know the backstory. Like what happened in Hart. You didn't have social media, internet.
Cool. So now we're here. Hey, welcome to today's live stream. We are in the green room here at the Vire Studios. We are here for National Apprenticeship Day. Shout out to the Dakar Foundation and Chris J. Allies for putting on this event. It's an honor and privilege to be here as an apprentice and learn so much and get so much on-the-side training. I'm here with this funny guy, Ray. What's up, my brother? Would you like to introduce yourself to the audience and just let us know a little bit about yourself, who you are?
Yeah, my slave name is Raymond. They call me Ray on the streets. I'm a black man with the skin disease called White Daddy. I'm supposed to be darker than this. And shit, I live in my car and travel the country, do comedy where I can, visit national parks. And in August, I'm going to Egypt.
Oh, nice.
Hopefully I get cut on the face and they rename me and take my slave name away, my brother. I'm going to get cut. I'm going to kill a goat with my hands or something, and then I'm going to come back on Ubuntu, or something like that, hopefully.
Well, hey, man, I hope you didn't just curse me right now. You know what I mean? I got to go see a priest after this. I don't know what you just said. You know what I mean?
No, it's like that Color Purple scene where it's like, I become a man, they cut me, and like, your name now is Toby.
Yeah, you're going to go on that vision quest, my brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Hey, but so let me ask you, so going to Egypt, let me ask you something. When it comes to the pyramids, you think they really built the pyramids, or do you think it was like aliens? Because every time, you know what's crazy? When white people do something, it's like, man, this was like a technological miracle. Wow, they did this. But when a brother does something, they're like, man, it was aliens. They didn't do it by themselves. You know, you think about the pyramids and all this other stuff that we did.
Now, we can say it was aliens. Mm-hmm. Because guess who the alien is?
Us.
The black man. Yeah. We're the magic of this planet, right? Because it was called Ancient Kemet, which means the black land. Mm-hmm. You know, that was us. Why else would they take the noses and the lips off of the statues? Why? Because it would show you who really did it and who really built that. Mm-hmm. So, you know, they don't want to like to hear it, but it's in Africa. And if it was in Africa, best believe
it was black people.
Black people that built it. So
they even start going out there with Whole Foods. Yeah.
We are the magic. We are the alien.
And speaking a little bit of that magic, can you tell us about the magic of comedy? Because you were up there killing it, my brother. And could you let us know about like your slogan, like these are the facts? Like where did that come from and how did that originate?
It came from because I watch a lot of black scholars, mm-hmm. and they debate each other, and they would always come and be like, Nick, these are the facts. See, when the white man came in and took the ice cream out of Africa, right? And they'd be like, see, fact trial. So I would see all these people, and I did a comedy competition one day. And I was like, I'm going to go up there in the comedy competition and like present my facts like I'm in court. So then that day, I was like, after everything, I was like, and these are the facts. So, I'm laying out the facts. And after the show, nobody didn't remember my name, but everybody's coming out the show going, those are the facts. Those are the facts. And I was like, oh, I got to keep that shit. Yeah, right? Because I was like, I can write a book on my own facts. And then I was trying to spell it so fast that I spelled it wrong. I spelled it F-A-C-K. I was like, back, fact. I was like, F-A-C-K. I was trying to get the idea so fast. But then when I looked up fact, that means fuck. So I was like, hold on, let me just change it back to the regular spelling. But yeah, that's how it came about. And then I was just thinking of all the things I can do with it, with writing books and, and then I'm a guy that's a scholar. I like to look at facts and stuff like that. So,
and speaking about being a scholar, today is National Apprenticeship Day. So for you, did you have any like comedic mentors or any like comedic like maybe opportunities or internships or apprenticeships that maybe like had led you on this journey, or for you, have you been in a system in which you were able to get like an educational and occupational opportunity? And if so, could you speak on it a little bit?
No, I've kind of just been free balling. I kind of got lucky to get this. I just showed up at the bar and I did a show with the guy in San Francisco. He was like, I need you. So for me, I just kind of go out and live. However, I tell everybody in the world we live in today, with whatever you want to do, the best thing you can do is go get an apprenticeship under somebody that's already doing it.
Exactly.
So you can get the on-the-job training and become that. You ain't got to go to college. You find somebody that's doing pictures. Hey, because the thing is, how can I help you?
Yeah.
Most people come in this world is like, how can you help me? And it's like, what can I do? You want me to pick up some wires? You want me to wash puppies? What can I do to learn this game? Because you might have to not make no money for a year, but all the tools that you're going to learn is going to be more what you would learn in school. Now you go get your cameras, now you shooting, now you making big money because you was up under somebody that knew what they were doing. So apprenticeship is great. And if you can't afford the apprenticeship, collect cans while you do it.
Well, I appreciate you, man. And real quick, I just want to give you an opportunity to let some people know where we can. And real quick, I just want to give you an opportunity to let the people know where we can find you. What are your socials?
I'm on Ray Ray's Comedy on everything. Ray Ray's Comedy on Instagram, Ray Ray's Comedy on TikTok, on X. I don't be on X that much, but I appreciate that they're changing it to X. Because you know the Twitter's in the Nation of Islam now.
Oh, really?
That's why I call it X. The X is the no. Remember Malcolm X, my brother?
Yeah.
They changed it black with an X. I said, look, they're trying to get black over here.
Back to business.
And then I'm creating a YouTube channel of me traveling, going to all these national parks, which is going to be called Comedic Nomad.
Nice.
Nice, that's it.
And then I ran up on a bear. I've been to national parks, sleeping in the car. And the only reason I don't really tell people I sleep in the car too much because there's still 2 girls on Facebook I'm trying to have sex with. I can't afford for them to find out too early. And those are the facts.
Well, yo, it's been a great conversation. Ray. Hey, these are the facts, my brother. Appreciate you so much. Thank you for coming out here and just killing it, showing us some love. And man, your talent and skill, your craftsmanship was on display during today's event. So we appreciate you so much for being here, man. And thank you for being so passionate and positive, man. Thank you. Like, big ups to our man. Make sure you tap in with him and follow him, man. Thank you so much.
Definitely one to watch, man. One to watch, bro. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. So I'm gonna get a tripod. I think I have one.
I'm ready to roll.
Okay, we're just gonna roll.
It's gonna start downstairs. It's like
Downstairs,
first leg.
yeah. All right, we got.
Huh? Wanna do that?
Yes, good.
All right, rolling.
Run deep. Delta.
All right. That's better, Mike.
Okay. Tito. Tito. All right, let's clap it up. Give it up for your boys. Here it up.
Oh my goodness, do that for the show, man. I just came to eat my shit, you know. This is the homeless show, huh? These niggas look more homeless than me. Shit, I see shelter. Yeah. Shit. You don't want to know my chicken does this. Yeah, I need this. Yeah, man. I'm from New York. I've been here 4 months, and I realized like there's a real homeless problem over here, and I think I know how the theory might happen. You know, I think what was happening like people were walking around with their phones, they were everywhere, right? And they lost their phone. And as soon as they lost their phone, they were like, all right, fuck it, I live right here, fuck it. This is where I live now. That's my people. You know? Yeah, but my name is Tino. I'm a black Latino. Yeah, that sucks. You know? I deal with a lot of different racism, you know? Like when I walk to the local bodegas, I I gotta deal with this shit. Pilla negro. Se va a robar la cerveza. Which means, watch the black guy, he's gonna steal the beer. And that hurt me, because they're not gonna ask to steal no beer. I want to steal a mic. Yeah. The toughest thing about being a black man that speaks Spanish is when I'm at a Latino party. Because I'll always catch somebody whispering, psst, psst, psst. You can't even do a negro aquí, which means one like the black guy. And that devastated me too, because it was my party. I'm not even racist. You racist in the house? Yeah. No, it's been tough for me, man. You know what I mean? I recently got dumped. I just hate that she used to dump at me. She said she needed space. Oh, I didn't tell you guys. She lives in the Philippines. I'm on more space than she needs, you know? I did everything to keep this relationship alive, you know? I wouldn't even have phone sex with her. And it was tough because she lived in a farm in the Philippines. So at any given moment, I'll hear a farm animal in the background. Yeah, I'll be like, hey, baby, who's this? Who's your daddy? All of a sudden I hear, I mean, it killed the mood. I was cockroach. Shit. Take your time, right? But I'm a home learning specialist and I like to, get it out here. So let's do it, right? Growing up, my father was a photographer. He was never in the picture. Wow, there we go. I mean, he lived in the flash. He wants me to develop. Some of you guys are being negative. I should have started with a joke about Will Smith. It always hits. Come on, let go rocks. Oh. You guys heard about R. Kelly? He was assaulted in prison. Well, don't worry, his injuries are minor. Oh. Yeah. Well, so my girlfriend cheated with a dude from Mexico. I was like, no way, Jose? My girlfriend had a gangbang at a famous burger joint. 5 guys. You gave up the buns. But I was upset when my girlfriend bought a strap-on dildo. But I put it behind me. Guys, thank you so much. Tino!
All right, hey, give it up for your man, Tino! How do you say what? Pistoso. Who is Pistoso? Pistoso. I'm trying to get my mouth. Christine. So, Christina and Chris, all right. That's actually cut. This our last meeting. Christina. What do you want to be known for? All right. We're going to know.
Is that Street Fighter game on?
Oh yeah, we can totally play that. Yeah, you want to do that? We totally can. I can set this camera up quick if you want to do that. All right, bet. We'll do that right now. Okay. So. Okay, do me a favor. Stand on the left, right hand side.
What player again?
I know you will.
Yeah. I gotta move this camera. You're too tall.
Here, this man.
Oh, do you? And we can start. Good. All right, folks. Oh, formatting? Oh, shit, that's good. Formatting.
No, the one that we shot.
That's good. Yeah. This is
Oh! Oh, that's eliminated. That's not seconds. Up. Fine. Go for it.
very good.
Yep.
All right. What did you say? What did you say?
What's that very?
Very?
Very.
Very, second stage. Good. Really good. She on Hulu. She on Netflix, all the good stuff. She on Kevin Hart, Sirius XM Radio. Give it up for your closer and Queen Bee. Christina Page!
Can y'all give it up for this, Elmo Coochie hair? Matching my gorilla coochie hair on my jacket. I'm feeling home. I was like, shit, I like it. My auntie gave me this, coat. She was like, bitch, you about to do what? She said, you about to be famous. Oh, hell no, put this shit on. She was like, this gonna make me win right here. So it's like porcupine pussy hair on the collar, and then gorilla coochie hair on the outside. You know what I'm saying? So give it up for Auntie Progressively. When an old black woman gives you some shit, you better wear it, right? Like immediately, okay? Otherwise, you are dead to her, okay? Forever and ever. You are out the wheel, no more Christmas, no more birthday, you are dead, okay? Can we give it up for these white people who showed up?
Oh, you gotta do player one start. So, while we load up the game, you want to tell the people who you are a little bit and find this game for us?
I am Alana Morgan, Alana Schulman, Alana Muhammad. Depends on who's asking.
And Alana, tell us about today's event. What did you think about the comedy show that we have going on, the laugh track and everything?
I think we have a wonderful set of comedians that have been able to come together. We collectively commune and are in LA doing the comedy. Some of us have multiple jobs and do multiple things because that's what we do. And so it was a beautiful coming to. I think it's a good start to something very interesting.
Nice. And what do you think about it being National Apprenticeship Day? Have you yourself been in any apprenticeship programs, and if so, can you tell us a little bit about them?
Well, I myself actually happen to work with a lot of the nonprofits and business organizations in the community, and work with apprentices all over the country, and actually all over the world. Come to think about it, because I do apprentice some people in the Caribbean. So I am an advocate. I've been somebody who's been in HR for about 30 years, as well as the entertainment industry, as an artist, as a creative person. I think it's very important to guide and teach young people and give them a good foundation of what standardization and guidelines they need to go forth at a very early age, and that way they can just very much outshine all of their counterparts. So a good apprenticeship program is actually very beneficial and very necessary.
And it's cool to see us collaborate today as a team with the Hart Foundation and be able to work with so many people so closely, and to have so many funny people in the room. You know what I mean? Like, not every day you get to, come to work and work with a bunch of comedians. So it's really fun.
Yeah, I wanted to play the game, so here we go. Ooh, and I'm blue too. See, I'm representing. Don't be mad at me, family. See. Ooh. That's for my children. They teach me. Oh yeah. Yeah. Ooh. You out of there. You out. Come on. Yeah. Knock out. See, that's how we do this.
That's how you get cooked in 30 seconds.
All right, yeah. You know what? Peace and love to everybody on the planet. Love is the most important thing in life, and I think everybody here understands that. Just wanted to remind everyone.
Yeah. And before we wrap up this interview, can you just let the people know where we can find you? Where can we do some of your media and things of that nature?
So I have a few Instagram handles. One is Blewish, BLEWISH, at BLEWISH, that's Black and Jewish. Another one is Open Your Third Eye, which is OPIN. You are the number 3 RDI. And yeah, that's pretty much my handle for most social media.
Well, thank you so much, Alana, for this conversation. Shane, we're going to send it back to you guys in the studio. And thank you guys. Thank you again so much for this opportunity.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you. Now let's get back to this
All
game.
right, I'm gonna whoop you.
I need some work, okay? Oranges, socks. It don't matter. Man, I traded some weed for some mascara the other day. I was like, this is amazing. Okay. And yes, I do sell weed. Okay. Weed is not a drug, right? Weed is a plant. Okay. You know, weed is not a drug. Weed is not a drug. Weed is not a drug. Okay. But it is if you suck a dick for it. It is. Real quick, I am a social worker. I work downtown, right here. It's Skid Row, okay, for real, right? I love working with the drug addicts and the homeless. Can I just say fuck the homeless? I'm sorry, safe space. Okay, because I just think it's time to give back. I just think it's time to give back, and ladies, we should start dating these men, It's charity. Don't that's a little loving will help you to get out the tent, potential, you feel me? I'm trying to tell you, I was walking my dog out my building, and this guy was like, ooh. And I was like, hell no. He cannot be talking to me, right? He was like, ooh. You phony. He's talking. He's like, you look almost good enough to take back to my tent. Almost? I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck is the prerequisite? I was like, are you serious? Be your tent. Like, this is amazing. Okay. So another day I come out my they do be, it be couples in the tent. People be fucking in these tents. This should be happening. I was like, when was the last time you soaked your balls, sir? Like, when was that coochie hole wipe with a baby wipe? You feel me? Like, they are doing this, okay? So basically, he was on the ground this time, right? He was like, I said, hell no. I was like, what? He was like, I'm trying to school you. I said, okay, just keep going, because at this point, this is just material. Okay, so he was like, my money hit on my EBT. I'm trying to take you to lunch and dinner. I was like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? Then I would turn down 2 meals. Okay. I was like, this nigga is so generous. We are dating now. Okay. So yes, and all this to say, I am writing a book right now. I am, because I am here to change the world. The book is called Just Say No to Dick. Letters to my younger vagina. And it's because, ladies, I got tired of being distracted, dictated, stigmatized, discouraged, disgusted, kidnapped, end up in a ridiculous situation. You have to suck it in to get all out. So I'm selling merch and we outside. And I'm just serious. But this is some of the merch that I have. These are the Just Say No to Dick. Pussy pocket pants, okay? You see this right in time for Mother's Day. All right. What? Get your kids, nieces, if they got secret Instagram pages twerking and you don't know about it, get them one of these, okay? Look, you can hide your money. Put your rent money up. Okay, ladies, he said he ain't got a condom. I do. Okay. Dirty big hole up, sir. Yes. And I be on the road. Hide your jewelry, ladies. Okay, I grew up in the projects. These niggas be stealing. My ex-boyfriend used to steal my weed when I was sweet. Okay? Hide your weed. Hide your drugs. My friend, a man, just bought a pair of these and wore these to Coachella. Get all these drugs in there, no problem. Okay? We do that. I'm trying to here's your advice. Who don't get hungry at night, ladies? Women love snacks, okay? What? I need the rest of the plate. Okay? You can't get a full one. Yeah. Especially in the bed, you know what I'm saying? So yes, this is a kangaroo pouch look. Okay? Just say no to dick, this is pocket pants, all right? So my name's Christina Payne. Yes, I love the homeless. We, us, one homeless man.
No. This is it. All right. Give it up for Christina Payne. I want to thank everybody for coming out. It's our first time putting it together. Thank you for looking at our good. Anyway, I want to thank you for the bottom of my heart. Peace and love, drive safe. I'm Christian Alex, and this is the last All right, now really, that is our show. Thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. Y'all can eat the rest of the food that's there. Thank you so much for coming out. And yes, please be in touch. All the good stuff. I wonder if you should be smiling here. That's good. So I'm focusing on seeing how this headed together and how, like, after I can build it up and all that stuff. Yeah, we need to have. So, I'm figuring that out. Give some back. Oh. Yeah. That's exactly what he was showing on TV. That's literally just goes under the guard, right? No, I got ball hit up. The first time that we pulled up at Handy Park, because we were all outside. And he was when we put it together, he always shows up 30 minutes later. Everybody can tell everybody to do that too. This nigga pulled up 2:30 to be off there for a half hour. But he pulled up in a drop top. I was trying to think if it was a BMW. He had a drop top something that's playing radio music and pumping his fist. It's like 2 p.m. I was like, what? What is going on? Don't. I was like,
It's Saturday.
no, it was just so funny seeing you pull up like that. I'm like, dang.
Work week.
It was so funny seeing you pull up like that. We be going through the craziest shit. We were at me and Chris were at a Comic-Con. Yeah, we were at Comic-Con. Randomly, we were selling chocolate. Randomly, like 3 hours from the Comic-Con, we walking around. I was like, is that
Hey, was it good chocolate?
Were you in that?
I was also in that music video. Shot separate.
Yeah,
That's separate shots. Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah.
Cool project.
I always support my friends, everything. Their videos and whatever they're working on, I support them on this.
Okay. Welcome back. Okay, this is really what we're calling now the postcast. The comedy show is ended, concluded with a great set of 5 comedians. But we're now here to talk real shop about, what happened today. Today was a National Apprenticeship Day celebration. And so I've got a couple of lovely ladies that I'd like to bring into focus and introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Mercedes. I'm from Camden, New Jersey. I'm out here in LA, living my best life and also saving lives. So I'm a part of the podcast today to talk about some health and wellness.
Okay, and to my left.
My name is Alana. That's just as simple as we'll keep it today. And I wear multiple hats. As you saw, I just told some jokes and sang a little ditty. I also am a 40-year practitioner of naturopath healthcare and have an apothecary. So
I love it.
we are all about the health and wellness today.
Yes, ma'am.
Because that's where it is.
That's
right?
what I said.
And so appropriate, I guess, for you two ladies to be talking to our apprenticeship program, because we are so interested in figuring out how we can introduce health and wellness to young people, not just the young people, but anybody who's on their journey. So anybody want to jump in and talk about what health means to them?
What health means.
Well, okay, here's a bigger question. How does health impact your day-to-day living?
I think health impacts your day to day because it starts off with when you wake up. How are you feeling, right? Are you waking up and feeling energetic, feeling excited about the day, feeling good about life? Are you waking up feeling like it's gloomy, doomy, and here goes another day. So, and that all starts with, not only spirituality, but I think also just what you're putting in your body, right? Do you have the energy to be able to get through your day? Do you have the mental clarity to be able to think through the things that you need to think through? All those things impact your daily life. So health is be well. I think, you have 1,000 problems in the world until you have one, and that's your health. And that's the only thing that matters. So in that sense, health is everything.
Okay. Alana, anything you want to add to that?
Well, they say health is wealth. I think it's a very holistic approach, and it starts with mental health. And like as she's saying, the actual awareness of knowing what you are doing and not doing to maintain your body's top condition. And so that's what health awareness is to me. And I think it's a very holistic thing. I think it has everything to do with mind, body, spirit. And I think that understanding the gravity of our current situation with young people, it's a very viable topic that's necessary to help keep things forward. Because if we don't have a healthy progeny, then how can we continue to exist? And so we want to make sure that we maintain our health and teach people how to become healthy. And that's one of the aspects that I have brought, to Dakar and other organizations, is cognitive understanding and awareness and appropriateness when it comes to various workplaces. And those are important factors in apprenticeship as well. So it has an aspect of health to it.
Great. Well, I'm going to ask you a little bit about your journey. How did you get exposed to this health practice that you're doing? And also extend to tell us where you're going with it next.
Well, medicine was always around. It really started with my sister back in the day, where they had the Health Channel that used to show a lot of, babies being born and that kind of thing. And she used to always just take the TV and never gave me a chance to watch. And so I was like, yeah, this is gross. And then eventually I was like, this is actually a little interesting. So in high school, I ended up actually doing a CNA course, LPN course. And then after high school, I transitioned into RN. And so I've been in my field for 13 years now. And it's just been a journey of going all over the country, pre-COVID, COVID, and seeing all the different experiences, different health systems, and how it all really wraps up into one health system, which is the American health system, and how that compares also to my personal travels of traveling. Usually go to 5 countries a year. And so even though it's personal, I try to do some kind of missionary work within it, and just see how other systems operate. So it's really a really interesting journey to see, I guess, all sides of health system and health and humanity, and how it all plays a part between diet, lifestyle, exercising, all those kind of things, how it culturally and physically impacts different people. Yeah.
So Lana, same question. How did you become a practitioner in health and wellness?
Well, I currently just hit my 50th birthday.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Yes. Longevity.
And so when I was about 9 years old, my stepmother, who's from Tokyo, Japan, handed me a book on herbs, and it had like an encyclopedia of every single known herb with what it was used for medicinally, or what it was poisonous for, what it would do. Like, it was the most amazing book. And I read that book. I was more interested in reading that book than I was in any kind of novel or story. I was reading health encyclopedias on herbs and medicines and just learning about things. And so I remember it had a what do you call it in the back? Like a glossary where you can list, if you have issues with lungs, you look up lungs, and it gives you all these page references. So it was a very useful book, and I remember recommending things to my friends, understanding, because I grew up in Texas, in San Antonio. I would go to the local grocery stores, and they'd have a lot of herbs in Spanish. So I would learn what herbs were what. and buy these things and then make teas and just share it with the family. And
Yeah.
so I've never been licensed or certified in herbal practices. I have a license as a spiritual minister, but not as a herbal practitioner. I've just studied and practiced and learned things on my own and just promote a holistic lifestyle.
Yeah.
Wow. What could you lend or give to young people? And I'm saying young people for us as apprentices between the age of 18 and 24. What could you give them as a pathway to getting better healthy practices for themselves? Anybody can jump in on that one, because we're here for the apprentices. But
I just have a son that just turned 18 the day before I turned 50. And my advice to him is all those days of eating all the foods that you snuck off to eat that I didn't allow in now, really, because he needs to start being healthy and aware that the hot Cheetos and the Skittles built up over time. If you were doing that in your youth, you are now becoming and evolving into a man, and you want to be in your best health possible. So take out the sugar, take out the artificial colors and the fried foods and the fast foods. And we live in, I call it the microwave age. It's in too much of a convenience. We want instant gratification for everything. We want it right now. The time it takes to make a quick grilled cheese sandwich, you wouldn't even have your shoes on to go to McDonald's to get a hamburger. And it would be a better option, if you want to do that. So we have to realistically look at those things and teach our young people that their health is very important and that therapy is okay. And we understand that people go through a lot of trauma. And even if you don't feel comfortable talking to a therapist, you can talk to your nurse, your doctor, and explain to them what you're going through. And they can assist you. And if you need medication for any kind of undiagnosed condition or diagnosed condition, they'll help you. So there are many things that are there to assist.
Yeah. I think one major thing to tag on to the mental health too is understanding the effects of stress over time, right? And the effects on the body and the organs and your systems with cortisol, high levels of cortisol, and how, slowly but surely it kind of breaks your body down and puts you in a lesser state, a lesser functioning state. And so a lot of times, I have a friend actually that just came from Turkey, which I will be going to Turkey soon. And I just had this conversation today that was like, I went there, I did this whole 3-day, everything, MRI, CAT scan, neurologist, gastrologist, everything you could think of, dental, 3 days. And they said, well, I only have this one tiny little thing, but why do I feel so bad? And I said, well, how's your stress levels been? Last year, I've noticed that you have been stressed out to the max. And so there's not one pinpoint thing that Western medicine can say that is, oh, you're having this issue because, it's your kidney, or it's because of the exposure to high levels of cortisol over time. That's not something that you could quite pinpoint all the time. And then another thing is that another recent thing that came across yesterday, I like talking about my personal experiences a lot because I think it just is relatable that someone has someone else in their life that might be experiencing. So one of my family members called me and said, I feel so bad. And I say, well, okay, these are the things that you can do to take care of yourself in the meantime. And they're a single person. And a lot of times, when we get sick, it's like, oh, I'm single, honey. And now the whole world's crashing down because it's like, where's my partner? And we have to take care of ourselves. But in talking to them, I realized I didn't have basic things like ginger. Keep ginger in your house. Keep lemons in your house. Keep teas in your house. Those kind of simple things that could be a remedy if you have a stomach bug, or having fiber. All these little things that you can go to your grocery store and get these things. It's not something that is inaccessible. And then another thing is fasting. The power of fasting, which you don't need anything at all to do, right? The effects of fasting and resetting your system and doing detoxes You know, I recommend at least 2 detoxes a year where you're detoxing from parasites, you're detoxing from heavy metals. You know, heavy metals are in everything. I just was doing a detox and I had this Celtic salt and I had a fasting, and you have to replace a little bit of salt so that you don't, when you do a water flush. And so I realized after doing research that this salt that was supposed to be so, you know, great, Celtic salt had really high levels of arsenic and lead. And this is a very renowned salt. So it's little things like that where it's like, are we doing our homework? And are we truly giving ourselves a reset?
Wow. How much research or energy do you put into this?
I tell you one thing, it takes 2 seconds and it's called Google. I mean, we live in an era of technology, right? And so you can Google almost anything. TikTok, you know, you just type it in. Literally, it's right there. It's not like it used to be before we had access to technology. So as fast as you can, you know, watch a video, you know, on the TikTok or, you know, Instagram is as fast as you can learn something else about, you know, how to take care of your body.
Yeah, well, we have to be a little careful about that because some things might peek through that aren't completely vetted, you know, even on Google. But I think if we do our own research,
right,
you know, it's accessible online.
Exactly. It's just something that can open your mind to say, okay, I can do further research on this. But it just gives you something.
Don't just trust one source.
But yeah, we're not going with Wiki. We're not going with Wiki.
No, don't just trust one source.
But that's just an easy way, easy thing to get to. Yeah,
absolutely.
But definitely, I would, like you said, you were given a book when you were young, you know, and those are the best resources where it's like those are scholarly, you know, and backed literature where it's like actually, you know, that it's a factual thing. But you know, you start somewhere.
Here's a question that I have. I mean, it's a term that I was, you know, exposed to, but here's a question I have about this term. And I say this term, what does it mean to you? Health equity.
Oh, that's a good one.
Or lack thereof.
In terms of what? Because
well, lack of health. Well, if you know what health equity is and you strive to get some semblance of it, what can you do with health equity that you couldn't do without it?
Okay, so I actually was looking.
Was that deeper?
At deeper terms. No, because I like definitions of things. And so to be clear, quick definition, health equity is the fair and just distribution of health resources and outcomes, ensuring that all people have the opportunity to achieve their highest level of health regarding their social, economical, and geographic status. So that is the definition of health equity. And so for me, that's one of the things that I'm really passionate about, right? Because I've been all over the world and I've been all over the country and I've seen how different social groups or cultural groups or ethnic groups are not treated equally, even on a financial level. You know, you could have people in the same culture but their financial status is different. They don't have access to resources. And so that affects not only that person, but it affects their family. It could be the man that's the head of the household who is the provider for the family. If he's not doing well, he doesn't have the health equity, then that leads down to the rest of the family. And also it leads to a generational issue. And so it's more than just a person. I think it's just, you know, a family and a generational, you know, trickling.
I think it also has a lot to do with awareness and having the awareness of, hey, I was diagnosed with diabetes. You have the opportunity to cure yourself of the diabetes without becoming insulin dependent. And just by changing your diet and having some, you know, daily type of movement and exercise. And there are a lot of examples of just simple things like that and other aspects that just people aren't aware of. And I think that awareness kind of takes health and understanding to another level. Like this new generation of young people have the understanding, some of them, that it's okay for therapy, as we were saying. So that gives a certain amount of equity. And I think that now public health is recognizing that there's so many other avenues to natural health alternatives. So they even have a doula program now. So if you are a Medi-Cal recipient, you can now have a doula for your birth, as well as your OB for your Medi-Cal plan, and my family is heading that up. If you Soul Mama Goddess on Instagram, she's the doula in charge of her birthing center, is actually making this happen for
Wow,
many
that's interesting. So
young mothers.
if you're a person who now understands that health equity is something that is an entitlement for everybody, where would you go to start your journey in gaining health equity for yourself? Would it be online, maybe doing a podcast, or trying to create some type of storefront in the communities that don't have a lot of access to the information?
So I will say that I have dissolved, but I did have a telemedicine business. And the name of it was You Matter Med, and the whole focus was that you matter, right? If you don't have access to care, if you can't afford to pay monthly insurance, or you might not have a job that's, legalized and you can get insurance access through your worker, but you work and you contribute to society, right? That you are still able to be seen. If you can't physically get to a doctor, someone needs to still look at you because your health is still important. And so I think that's another huge resource that maybe is not, it's growing, especially post COVID, but that's not utilized enough is telemedicine.
Is there a place online, YouTube, that gives you more inspiration, more research than not? Because as a company as a nonprofit that's trying to put a spotlight on this, is there a place where we could go or we could point to that can provide more entertainment, education, edutainment about this problem of not taking health as seriously as we could?
I think it's fortunate that we have social media, right? And so as harmful as it can be to society is as good as it can be to society. And I follow a lot of influencers that focus on health and lifestyle. And so my goal, and I'm in the seedling stage, is to create just that as a page that goes into lifestyle, but also health and wellness and how to access, because a lot of people are stumped on exactly what you're asking, like, where do I go to actually see this? And so, that's something where, that it works into the algorithm. Once you get into the algorithm of what you're looking at and what you're ingesting. But yeah, there's definitely a lack of a resource of a specific place to go to say, hey, this is where I can point you in the direction.
Right. Because what I fear is that people won't really embrace it until it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe that's something that needs to be created, like an infrastructure of doctors that practice traditional medicine along with westernized medicine, that can help, that population. A lot of the times it's the financial issue. So if a doctor doesn't accept Medi-Cal or doesn't accept some form of insurance that the patient has, they're not able to be seen if they can't afford a cash visit. So it's unfortunate in that sense. And that's not an equitable process. There are technologies and things that are available for all types of ailments that are only affordable by the very elite because they cost $15,000-$20,000 a treatment and don't accept insurance. And so you can wipe out cancer in a few sessions, if you pay this. Sometimes
really?
even more.
Really, you can pay
sometimes
for
more, hundreds of thousands. Yes. I know people who've gone all over the country. All over the world. I don't want to say.
In order to have a better access to care.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Wow. It's not unbelievable. You're saying that a person who needs to start this, like was yesterday, would go on Google, or they would try and, find some source to get them kickstarted. Is there a person, a human being that's either alive or dead,
That's different.
Let's close.
Yeah, we'll close this out and then we'll jump back to the comedians. Where was it?
Oh, Sabi.
Yeah, Dr. Sadie.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So let me know. Can we start? Okay. Yeah. So, I didn't want to miss the Dr. Sabi story, but I'm a newbie and trying to figure out not only what he was about, but what happened to him. So I don't want to open up the whole can, but just part of it is that, do you think that if somebody put it in a movie, people would care more?
If they knew the truth, oh my God. I met Dr. Sabi maybe 30 years ago, and he came to Houston. He would run around in a circle, jump up, land on his knees, get up, run around in a circle again, jump up, land on his knees, and get back up and say, yes, the CMOS. The CMOS gel. I'm like, oh, wow, who is this man?
We didn't have social media back then. So, yeah,
No,
I've only seen a few, interviews, but I'm actually really interested in figuring out what we can do to create a movement. So with our last words, any ideas on how to create this movement, a health movement for all of us?
I think, you having Dakar and being a nonprofit that's working with these young apprenticeships, we can help incorporate that training and awareness in your apprenticeship program and through other programs like that, because the younger people that have the awareness and the understanding of health and awareness and knowing that health is wealth in so many ways, that there's no way to be healthy.
Unhealthy. Unhealthy and broke, right?
Right.
It's no reason.
There's no reason.
At this point. And any last words and how to kickstart something? I mean, you're a young woman, talking about doing it, but is there anything you can do to help us understand how everybody can start to pick off little pieces of your story, your journey?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm in the seedling stages of creating some proprietary blends of herbs and, things that everyone can incorporate into their daily living, because my whole angle is not necessarily that, vegan or vegetarian or any specific lifestyle. It's adopting the lifestyle that you have and healthy habits to combine in combination. So my whole goal is that you can do, everything that you're doing pretty much already right now. It's just adding, things like intermittent fasting, drinking teas in the morning, starting your day off with water, doing periodic cleansings and detoxes and those kind of things to offset some of the bad things that, that we have. So that's my whole spiel is, you can maintain your lifestyle, but let's add a little bit of goodness to it.
Exactly.
And there's balance.
That's the word of the day.
Stay away from sugar.
And stay away from sugar, Lord.
What kind of sugar? All sugar?
All sugar. Sugar is the worst drug
if
on
it
the
is
planet.
a starch or if it is a sugar,
why
it will
is
turn
it
into a
manufactured
sugar.
then? Because
It is the most addicting drug on the planet.
It's manufactured
really is.
because we have companies like Philip Morris that own Nabisco, and a lot of our it gets real deep, but a lot of the companies, General
Mills?
General Mills, Procter & Gamble's, Nabisco, that manufacture a lot of our food are companies that were formed off of, the basis of people becoming addicted to their products. And so, I like that we're getting rid of the dyes, Red 40 and petroleum-based dyes that have absolutely no nutritional benefit to us at all outside of being visually appealing. But those kind of things, these are the facts about sugar. Sugar, it affects your insulin resistance, and that's why we have so much prevalence of diabetes in this country. And if it is a starch, it will turn into a sugar. It's not a question. Starches are sugar, sugars are sugar.
And then most of us have been trained to start our day with a sugar, which is a glucose spike, which offsets everything, and your whole health becomes haywire.
Right.
So you have to start your day off properly.
And if you are to eat sugar, put the sugar, fats, carbs, and protein, right?
Man,
So
these are just
that
fundamental
combination will offset a little bit of your incidence with
So these are just fundamental things that people have to reverse.
Yeah.
And, I think that's the word for me, balance and reverse.
Yeah.
Put it in reverse and start again, because you've only got one body.
Right.
I mean, I don't know, maybe you got more than
you
one.
have 1,000 problems until you have one, and that's your health. So put it as priority
In this
number one.
lifetime.
In this life. So put it as your priority.
Right.
Wow. Thank you, ladies. I really appreciate your
Thank
spirit,
you.
your energy.
Welcome.
We have a
Thank you.
special guest. She's just parked and she's coming up. Can you hang out? Because I really think she's going to vibe off with you guys on any level. So I guess we can go to the comedians, but I want to have them come back around and have exit in the seat. And maybe we can ask some questions. I'll just be off camera about apprenticeship and what that means. And the word though, that I really want to
Can you let me know if this is on?
put out here for everybody is mentorship.
Can you see the green?
What is it, and how do we find one, or how do we be one?
Yeah.
Each one teach
What would
one.
it say?
Yeah, that's a good song, but I mean, lyrics is cool, but damn, I mean, I've never had a
Everybody
yeah,
can
we're
see
good.
it.
I didn't go
I'll
over
be
one
on
either.
Hey, what's up? It's Sunny Harris from the Dakar Foundation. We are here at the Laugh Back, hosted by the Dakar Foundation and Chris J. Alex, sponsored by the Buyer Network. We are here with a funny comedian, man. Give it up for my man Tino.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Had a great time here.
Can you tell us a little bit for the people who don't know you yet? Could you give us a little bit about your background? How long have you been doing comedy? Just a little bit about yourself, my brother.
Oh man, I'm an OG in comedy. I've been doing it for 20 years in December. So yeah, just reinventing myself. Been doing my one-liners now. Combining it with my set. So yeah, I'm loving comedy. I'm loving Hollywood, and thanks for having me.
Nice. And over that 20 years, were you ever in any? Let's go back to day one when you first started learning comedy. Did you have any mentors or anybody you were kind of studying under, almost like an internship or anything like that?
Fortunately, no, and that's why I'm still figuring it out. Because being ESL, I barely spoke the language, so I didn't. Yeah, it was a weird act. I didn't know how to speak to do comedy because someone just put me to do comedy. I should have studied it before I started, but yeah, I learned on the fly.
Nice. And can you just tell us a little bit about what inspires you as a comedian? What do you use as inspiration when you write your jokes? Is it your life? Like you were saying, is the people you meet on the weird people you meet on the street? Where do you get that inspiration from?
Yeah, just life and the people and the experiences, the rejections, it's just the family, friends, the being in a new town and just watching everything funny, the looking this way, as it's also a part of my act. So yeah, it's just the therapy that I try to share with people, my real life experiences, good or bad.
Nice, and that's what I appreciate about comedians. I feel like comedians make the most out of everything. You know what I mean? It could literally be the most simplistic thing, but you find a funny way to kind of approach that.
Yeah.
And comedians are so good at laughing at our own pain, because I feel like we go through all of the same, BS.
Yes.
But it's people who take the time to really break that down and package it into a funny way that I appreciate that delivery, man. So seeing you perform today was absolutely amazing. And real quick, just to let you know, today's National Apprenticeship Day. So I want your opinion on, what you think about apprenticeship, right? So basically, getting paid to learn a skill or an occupation.
Right.
Imagine if there was a comedian apprenticeship. You know what I mean? That would be so.
That'd be so great. Yeah, that'd be so great. I mean, apprenticeship is necessary because that's what we get to learn and have that next person, evolve into the next. Big thing, the next, the next person that's gonna teach the other person who's coming up. So apprenticeship is very important because it just gives people that don't usually have a chance, a chance to grow as artists, as background people, whatever it is inside. You need apprenticeship, in my opinion. Being an ex-Navy, is very important, just to learn things, Not everything you're born with it, so.
Yeah, you gotta practice.
You gotta practice it and learn it and have mentors and people that teach you things, so I'm all for it.
And speaking on that a little bit, what advice would you give to up and coming comedians with 20 years of experience? What do you think is like the biggest thing you've been able to take away as far as like your process or just the journey as a whole as a comedian?
Well, just know that everyone's journey is different. It helps if you love the art, because it'll keep you in it longer. Because some of us think we're like, yo, just want for funny. I mean, my friends laugh and it's automatic. But it's the process of just like you have to, like everything, you have to work at it. Everyone that's great, has put the work in. The Tysons, the Obamas, everyone has work to do to get to that level. So I just tell them just stick to it, believe in it, and have fun with it. Because if you might as well do something and have fun with it, because it'll keep you doing it longer.
Yeah, your passion becomes your obsession.
Exactly. And you do it for more than just other reasons, or like the money, the fame, and everything. No. It feels good to me. It feels good when I do it for the audience, and if you keep those simple principles, it'll help the process.
Nice. And last question: how do you feel that you've been able to successfully navigate social media? Generate a following. Some of your clips going viral. So for you, as somebody who's an older gentleman, how do you manage that? You know what I mean? Because I feel like a lot of people say like, I'm not willing to learn social media, or I'm not willing to learn that. How did you find the time to kind of like dive into that? If you could speak on that.
Well, it's a matter of keeping up with the Joneses. You know what I mean? It's like that's what's happening now. Like videos and skits became I was brought onto it because I'm like, yo, the older guy, you could be my dad, you could be my. So I was kind of like, hey, do this now. And it happened during the pandemic when I really got into it. So yeah, it was just kind of like it was something secondary to do when comedy was shut down, and then I just kind of kept it going because that's what everyone was doing. And I had a lot of young ladies stepping up to me like, hey, you're gonna be my dad in the video, you're gonna be my pimp, you're gonna be my. I'm like, okay, yes, let's do it. And that's where it evolved from. Just kind of doing what where it went. The comedy went from this to that, and I followed suit.
Yeah, and final question: what would you say to somebody? So we started off with somebody who's like just starting off in their career. What would you say to somebody with like you're like 20 years of experience and they're still doing it, but they feel like they haven't given themselves a credit yet, and they still think that they haven't made it? What would you tell to them? Because I feel like for you, over the pandemic, you said so recently, you really hit that crazy viral stride.
Yeah.
So there's probably a huge amount of time where you're like, man, fuck this shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We all go through those times.
Yeah, you do.
So what advice would you give to somebody who's also in that kind of like just going through the strides right now?
Right. Well, like I said, I tell them to keep the fundamental of it, which is the love to want to make people laugh, and and keep that going because it's therapeutic to you. Because like I said, I definitely have moments like, oh, I'm not making it. This kid made it in 5 years. What am I doing? I keep reinventing myself. No, give it up. But I couldn't because it was my core. Comedy is my core. The virals are one thing, but I'd be damned if I'll leave the comedy for the viral world, because comedy is what makes me feel good inside, and I'll do it no matter what. If doesn't get compensated, if nothing comes from it, I'll do it. That's what I gotta do. Like for me, my comedy therapy that I want to share with the world, and hopefully they can relate to it.
Wow. Beautifully said, my brother. Like, Tino, it's been an honor and privilege to have this conversation with my brother. For the people, can you just give out your socials and where can we find you, man? Where do we keep up with you, man? You're talented and funny dude, man. So where can we find you?
Thank you. Well, you can find me in the streets. I'm always out there on the boulevard. But for the most part, I'm out here in LA. LA, trying to learn where to go, the cool places. So right now you can just follow me on my social media, official IG Bum, on Instagram or TikTok. I'm on TikTok as well. So Bum on TikTok. Just follow me on there. And just put in a good word. Just hope you don't die before you. Things happen. I'm up there in age, so but I love what I'm doing.
Yeah, and wishing you many more years of community success, my brother. Thank you so
Thank you.
much for taking the time to have this conversation and being here at the Laugh Back.
Yes. Laugh Back. Thank you so much, Laugh Back.
Amazing performance. Thank you, man.
Thank you, brother. Yeah.
All right, CJ, you're good. You're good. Let's go.
CJ. Oh, sorry. Who's CJ?
CJ's right here.
CJ.
CJ and Christina, you guys are next up right now. Got you. So he's gonna be doing your interview. Okay, and we're still live, so you guys can just sit down and we can go straight into it.
Sounds good. How's it going?
Studies, and I'm gonna have this one go write the experiment, this one go conduct the experiment. What if it makes stuff up along the way? How will anybody know? And this is something that's not just in science. It already happened. You could look up a startup called 11X, and 11X is a they got like $50 million from like all the big VC firms to make an agentic sales team, right? And you know what happened with that agentic sales team? It didn't work because they kept making stuff up. And so like they had this weird sales cycle where like 80% of their customers were canceling. It's a limit of the technology. You can't undo that. So then why are you turning that on to grade our kids' tests at the end of the year? Or why are you turning that on to write down what I say in my doctor's appointment? Or what you mean you're finna turn that on to tell me about the laws in the government? When it makes stuff up, and it's a factor of how that technology works. You can't undo it. I don't like that. That's more so what I'm concerned about. So if you're gonna have an AI agent that's a scientist based on a large language model, will science even be real anymore?
Good question.
This conversation is going really well. Now, we put you on the main stage. Let's take a break here and introduce ourselves, names, a little bit of background, and then we'll continue this riveting conversation about education and apprenticeship.
I want you actually in on this. This seems to be some part of your alley that I want you to unlock.
Okay, perfect.
Introduce yourself first, because nobody knows as much as you know about how to connect and unlock, Exxon and things that she can do to help us.
Okay, perfect. Well, my name is Shane Hyman. I'm the founder and president of Next Level Global Technologies, Inc., startup corporation leveraging the Jobs Act with a pathway from startup to the stock market using those exemptions that were made for us. When I say us, the act itself names 3 different categories of disadvantaged people: women, minorities, and veterans. So we're taking our technology and we're, as a software publisher, creating applications and solutions for things that matter, such as workforce, apprenticeship, education, mentorships, as Kevin Clark says, all of the ships. So in addition to my tech startup, I'm also a board advisor with Dakar and just putting some systems together. But I really love where this conversation is going. We're talking about education, and really at the end of the day, that's the root, right? It's the foundation, and we need our students to be more proficient in math and science and all of these different things, so that way they can be prepared for what we have as the pipeline, starting with pre-apprenticeship that prepares them to then capitalize on apprenticeship programs where they can exercise the skills that they're learning, get paid work experiences, to then get placed for long-term income opportunities, whether it's through employment or whether it's through gig work as an entrepreneur. That's one of the problems that we're facing right now. It is National Apprenticeship Day, and there's an executive order for 1 million apprentices. But we can fill the pipeline with more apprentices, but where's the data metrics of placement? Where's the data metrics of actual income opportunities? And to your point, X, when you're talking about technology, one of the things that we're working on is the ability to create data sets and to use predictive modeling and predictive analytics to help us kind of chart out and map out that pathway to be a little bit more intelligent in terms of who we're putting into the pipeline, what areas we're training them for, and how we can literally, when the time is right, connect them to paid opportunities. So we got to analyze the market demands and be more intelligent about our operations, so that way we have more proof in the pudding, more showmanship, and that's kind of what Dakar is working on. And we're just here to create, as my partner John Schindler says, is MVP, minimum viable products, processes, and in this case, platforms, technology systems, and MVS, minimum viable steps, and then we break it down to IX, which is incremental steps to take it step by step. So with that being said, that's my framework. That's kind of what I'm passionate about, and I really love the conversation that's happening right now. Thank you all.
Is there any chance to get a 4-shot or no chance, huh?
Well,
You're super fly.
let's.
Hey,
But you
nice. You too.
Conversation. I'm just
Kevin, can we also
basketball.
close that door? I just don't want there to be cross audio. Yeah, I got you.
I just want to watch my Warriors.
I know.
Get ready to
You
go.
got 10 minutes.
Tap that ass.
10 minutes.
Excuse me, let me know.
You should have heard all the comments.
Yeah, I'm back in the Oracle days.
Me too.
Oakland, okay.
Me too. Look, I used to go to the games as a kid. My grandpa had season tickets.
Okay, okay.
I was there when we had Antoine
Yeah, well-
Jameson,
Oh, man. Well, I go back a little further.
Stojakovic.
No, I'm talking about people that, Rick Barry. Okay.
Okay, you OG word.
OG.
Got it.
But yeah, so intros. Maybe we can do this without the screen, or you want to get them in the screen doing intros?
Well, it's all here.
We got let's start with intros. Again, which way should we start? We got Chief.
Take it first.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Wyken Harris. I'm a mentor with the Dakar Foundation. I'm also a project manager, and I'm helping today bring all these apprentices together to understand the power of being educated and responsible creative professionals and working with such a unanimous team. Thank you so much to the Dakar Foundation, Chris J. Alex, and Buyer Network for providing such a magnificent space for us to hone our skills and be the next level creative professionals that we aim to be.
Yes.
Peace, everyone. My name is XIA, like Yippee-IA. I'm an artificial intelligence researcher. I'm a software engineer. I've worked at Microsoft. I created my own research teams when I was at Google, and now I help companies and governments around the world figure out how to build AI that helps more people than it harms. I'm excited to help Dakar Foundation figure out how to help you guys build the next generation of AI and future technologies. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, my name is Giovanni Perez. I'm an apprentice here for the pre-apprenticeships at Dakar, and I'm really loving everything that's been involved. Kept really mentored me. About me, I'm a veteran. Got out back in 2012. Did 3 tours, got hurt and stuff like that. Had my own transition. And something I've learned throughout my time of being out and transitioning out was just, giving back to my community. I think that's where I really found my why. So what I want to do here is just, I've entered into a space of going back into school, working on my master's now, trying to get into communication branding and stuff like that. But I really love telling the stories of community and a brand and how both can help each other, right? Make a market without someone purchasing it. You can't make a brand without someone wanting to buy it. So I just love telling those stories together, and that's hopefully what I can tell here will be in this product.
Hi, my name is Mercedes. I am a registered nurse with 13 years experience. I'm currently focused on entering more of the space of outside of Western medicine in the seedling stages of pushing my brand for health and wellness. That is really just focused on lifestyle and adding to your lifestyle. So not to take away, but whatever your practices are right now, we want to add to find some balance in what you can do to have a wholesome lifestyle. Focus on naturopathic medicine and all the healing that comes with that. I am interested in mentoring within the space of health and wellness and healing. And I'm open to all that is on this panel. Thank you for having me.
Great. I'm going to ask a question that I hope everybody can answer in their own authentic way. Wyken, I'll start with you first. Why do you think you're here?
I think I'm here today because I see the power of community, and I can see that with all these young people that we have here today, everybody is driven, everybody has a story, everybody here is willing to give themselves to make an impact in the communities and really showcase that this each one teach one model that we aim to create can really benefit the greater world around us and allow us to build bridges to brighter futures. And I mean that on an occupational sense, an educational sense, and a resource sense, because a lot of the people that we deal with or operate with are from disinvested communities. So we need to serve those underlying, issues or tribulations they may be facing to perform proper triage. So that way we can, be of help and create something that, makes a lasting impact in a positive way for these apprentices and students that are coming within this program.
Next, I know why you're here. You're here to help that go. But you know, what brought you from a young person all the way to who you are now?
The exact reason why I'm here, because there were people who had the skills and cared enough to pass them on to me and helped expand my imagination about what was possible and what I'm capable of doing in moments when I didn't believe. And at every step of my career, having what later became called mentors, which you guys call apprenticeships, are the reason that I was able to be someone who still hadn't finished a formal college education but become published in one of the top computer science journals. Is because I had mentors who taught me how to do it, spent time with me week by week, step by step. So I feel like as in honor of my own journey, it's only right that that becomes a part of my journey, you know, like what I do day to day. So that's why I'm here.
Yeah, what brought me here today is giving back. A lot of what you said with this whole thing is, you know, since I started and met everyone here, Kevin's Phil kind of put me different than everybody else, which isn't bad, but he's giving me room to speak my voice, help him create, which is help me create, and give me a platform to speak my voice, especially my perspective of someone who is re-entering the workforce, who's transitioning into a new lifestyle and education, new workforce, things like that. So it's really amazing. So it's my way of being able to say thank you and just be able to share my space.
And I'm here today just because I want people to know that there are so many things that you can do that work towards your health and work towards your wellness, whether it's mental health, whether it's spiritual health, whether it's physical health. There are things that you can do every single day to work towards just being a better version of you. And it just incorporates, you know, the things that you already do and the things you already learned, maybe making some tweaks and adding to, and knowing that it's accessible to everyone. Everyone should have access to care. Everyone should have access to preventative care, and knowing that it's possible for everyone. You know, conditions can be reversed, conditions can be treated, and conditions can be prevented. So I'm really passionate about just educating people on all the knowledge that I've learned versus both traveling internationally and working nationally, almost every state at this point, and all the health systems and all the things that I've learned along the way. So mentorship is really important to me because I feel like it's a trickling effect of one person to generations. And so if we want to set the next generations up, we have to be very loud about the changes that need to be made now and preventative. And so we're working from a standpoint of, you know, preventative versus reaction. Yeah.
I have one more question because I know the game's going on. Shane mentioned this thing called the ships, you know, internships, apprenticeships, scholarships, apprenticeship, again, stewardship. But mentorship is the one that started me with nonprofit work. So I have to ask this question of everybody. Tell me about somebody who was a mentor, and how can you share with anybody listening how you can get a mentor? Because that's a tough thing. I've never had one. So I'll start with Mike.
So for me, I started off just kind of doing it on my own. So I started my own creative agency, and then through working through my agency, I was able to meet one of my first mentors, which was Jimmy Powers, who owned a recording studio. So by talking to him, he's been in business not only in the recording studio lane, but he actually has his own tech agency. So for one of the things that he taught me first was business is business. So once you understand one business model, you can apply it and formulate that to all the other things that you're doing. I think when it comes to finding a mentor, you got to be in the right place at the right time. Key example of that was when I first showed up to the first ever time I met Kevin Clark was at one of his Dakar events with the Lead the Divide. And I showed up on a whim because, you know, my cousin was invited there. And at the time, I'm still currently working as a teacher with the Solar Foundation. I was like, wow, what a great opportunity to meet like-minded people who are actively engaging in the community. And, you know, over the span of 6 months, and I spent countless days learning from Kevin. He's put me in a position now where I'm a project manager for Dakar. And over the past 6 months, his mentorship has put me in a position from, you know, just a 26-year-old kid to a grant writer, political activist, community transactionist, you know, and just put me in key rooms where, you know, people are so happy and excited to meet me. And I'm just 26 and I live in the Valley, you know, but what he's put me on and the things that I've been able to do with this knowledge has, you know, made generational impacts in my community. And my whole thing is philanthropy and giving back to the community. I think that's the biggest thing is what we need to learn how to do with mentorship is how to take this knowledge and invest back into our neighborhoods and share this knowledge, because mentorship really looks like taking the time to have the conversation with the person next to you.
That's facts. I'll say first about getting a mentor. Before you get a mentor, you have to have a goal. Someone can't direct you if you don't know where you're going. And so the first step is to check in with yourself about what your destination is, and then figure out where along this path you need help. And if you need help figuring out the path, then that's your goal. And then you ask around and figure out who's willing to help. And you go to events where you'll meet people who are more likely to help, right? Like in this day and age, there's an AI event every weekend in every major city in every country. So if you want to get into tech, you can go there and just at the happy hour, go out and socialize. I know it's uncomfortable. You don't have conversations off screen anymore, right? But you go out, you meet people, you post what you're learning, you create content. If you're a person who loves creating content, just make content about your journey, and you never know who will reach out to you. But it's important that you have a goal. When I was the mentorship part that I was talking about earlier, I knew that I wanted to be a published research author. So that'd be so fire if, like, before I got a bachelor's, I had like a published paper just because I'm here. That'd be dope. But I have no idea how to write a research paper. That was not one of the math classes I took. And so when I went to my mentor, my first question was, what do I need to learn about this process so I could figure out how you can help me along it? And so she gave me a list of things to go research and read. And I came back with a report and a series of questions. And then she was like, oh, well, you're going to do the work. Okay, cool. So then we ended up working on it together. Well, that research team we created was the skin tone research team, which taught AI how to see black and brown skin tones. And that woman was Dr. Timnit Gebru, who ended up getting fired from Google for passing off, a research paper that explained how dangerous some of their AI models were. And you never know. Again, it's just a matter of having the goal, making the ask. And when someone says no, not taking it personally, and a sign that your goal is not valid, just that is not the person who's going to help you along the way. And that's okay. Like rejection is redirection. So I think have the goal, make the ask, and then put yourself in a position to meet the right people at the same time that can help you on your journey. And, get involved with Dakar Foundation.
Wow.
Yeah. Mentorship. I don't know if I've had like dedicated people that are mentors to me. I think I've met people along the way of my life that I've been able to capitalize on that network. Each person that I've encountered, we've shared our own moments that I can gain and learn from them. But I value them, right? And I still reach out back and forth. But it's something where I wish that I could, but it's something that I've extended to myself. Even now, I'm sending this out to professors and just like, just recently I got into USC. So when I was talking to, I asked for a mentor through USC because I was like, I need to take advantage of this expensive ass deal, right? And they put me with this professor, and I remember the first time I met him, and he was just like, "Who are you?" And I was like, "All right, we're just talking and talking." And I shared with him, I had like this imposter syndrome, right? Didn't really feel like I belonged there. Everybody around me didn't look like me, didn't feel like me, and I was explaining to him, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this first year because it's gonna be big. And like he just told me, he's like, "Look, you're here for a reason." Mm-hmm. Little did I know that he was on the board, and he was like one of the ones that saw my application, right? So he's like, "You're here for a reason. We chose you for a reason, and you just need to accept that. And once you start accepting that, you're gonna start moving along freely." I was like, "Yeah, sure, right, whatever, dude." And I pushed through that first semester, and now he's my professor for this semester, and we got to talk, and he's just like, "Dude, you're like smiling. You're a different person from the day that I saw you." And I was like, "Yeah, I took your advice. I just accepted that this is where I'm supposed to be." So every time when I walk on campus, I'm like, "Yeah, this is me." Those small little keys and things like that are the momentum of me to keep my fire. But I also know those key moments for me help me succeed. So I always try with anybody ever me, try to push that knowledge, share some insight, and I've been able to be successful with my own peers by doing this. We talked about the veteran community. I'm a big brother to a lot of my junior Marines, so I've gotten the 2:00 in the morning call that a drug and facing some adversity. So I knew that's the brotherhood of mentorship that It needs to be given, and so I've tried to give him that as much as been given to me.
Great.
I think I have a few great mentors in life. Number one was my background. I come from the hood, and so just looking around me was the best teacher that I had. And looking at my family situations and the causes and effects of living certain lifestyles, I knew that wasn't something that I want. Then when I got old enough and I actually got my career and stepped into my career, my patients became my greatest mentors of living, vicariously through them. And whether that was a good thing or a bad thing, whether they had made great decisions in their life or they had made really bad ones that led to, I would sit down and I would just listen to their stories. And so just taking that in, and I think also they taught me to not have fear to live life. Because when you're dealing with someone who is at the sickest stage of their life or on their deathbed, they got a lot of things that they can offer you and tell you, hey, don't do this, don't focus on this. These are the things that matter. And so they pushed me to live out my dream and have wanderlust. And so I started traveling really, really hard, really fast, 5 countries a year, and going to different places where, they don't have American tourists. They have holes in the wall, and just listening to their stories and their lifestyles and the things that we take for granted every single day. That was a great teacher for me. I didn't have a physical one person that I would say taught me, to be who I am today. And I think that is so important for me, especially as a middle sandwich generation, to give back to the youth, where it's like, you know what, no one taught me about a credit card or credit, but I'm gonna put you on mine, and I'm gonna teach you how to use it, and I'm gonna teach you what to do. So really, it started of me giving back to my family, and then my humanitarian efforts just expanded beyond that.
Well, mentorship for me, I believe, starts with AA. Now, when I say AA, I'll start by joking by saying, "Hi, my name is Shane Hyman," but that's not what I meant when I said AA. I mean ambition and attractiveness. Okay, meaning that you have to be ambitious enough, you have to have a goal, and you have to be actively pursuing it, and that is attractive, and you will attract mentors to you, and you have to be open and receptive to listen and follow the guidance and get the result from it and continue that process and gain more momentum through the mentorship process. And I'll speak just very briefly how that unfolded for me. My professional career started officially when I was 16 years old as a barber. So I had a mentor approach me because I was ambitious. I was cutting hair. I was marketing myself. I built up my clientele to a certain degree where the local shop owner noticed that a lot of clients were no longer coming to his shop. They were coming to my father's garage where I was cutting. That's attractive. The mentor approached me. Hey, this is very impressive, but what you're doing is actually not correct. You're supposed to be licensed. This is a professional career. This is regulated. You could actually get in trouble. But I will mentor you if you're willing to listen and follow instructions. He set me up. I was willing to follow. He said, go to adult school. I'll show you where to enroll. Do your hours and get your apprentice license as a barber apprentice. When you do that, you can hang that apprentice license with me, and you can cut hair legally in my shop. Now, I'll teach you how to run your barber business as a business instead of a hustle. And if you'd like to learn how to run a shop, then I'll teach you that as well. So mentorship is an opportunity. And what I like about how the market has changed from internship to apprenticeship is it directly speaks to my personal story. So the mentorship and the apprenticeship was hand in hand. And these are the type of systems that we're so fortunate to be developing here with Dakar, with all the wonderful people who are willing to, mentor and guide and give back. So that's what I have to say about that.
And I'll take this out by saying that I've never had a mentor for myself personally. I believe I probably have. I just don't know if I can pinpoint one person. But all you guys here today are mentoring this program. And I was told that mentors are people who give unconditionally. They have big hearts, big ears, and little mouths. And so, again, I appreciate everything that has happened today, and especially the folks here in these chairs, because, you know, I'm going to take this and, you know, pitch it to a lot of other people who don't know how to get involved with mentoring, but want to. So again, I want to thank each and every one of you guys. And again, this concludes our day, National Apprenticeship Day 2025. Go get it. All right. Thank you.
All right.
Oh,